I asked the question, can a teacher be a bully? Of course they can. In high school, you heard other videos. I had some really bad bully teachers. I mean, my home economic teacher was really bad. Miss Jones, my accounting teacher, a lot worse. But do you know who the honor, or in this case, the dishonor goes to? The worst teacher I ever had was Ms. Hicks, my French teacher, my high school French teacher. This woman was by far the worst bully I ever ran into. Every chance she got, she found a way to put me down. In class, I was running to the classroom. She would close the door because I was late. And sometimes even by just a few seconds. I had to catch the bus all the way from the west side of Detroit all the way back to the east side of Detroit, 2 buses. And I would be running like Forrest Gump, and Usain Bolt had a baby. I'm flying, I'm running, and I was reaching for the door, and she would close it, slam it closed, leaving me sitting out there in the hallway, kids in the classroom laughing. This woman was brutal. I mean, whatever it was, to this day, I don't know what it was. Every little thing in class, she found a way to humiliate me. There was one time in class when she went around, and I knew, oh, here comes some crap. Here it comes. She went around the class asking everyone, so what do you want to do, Marcia? And Marcia would say, I want to be this and I want to do this. And she said, that's very good. Then she go over there and ask another student, what do you want to be, Billy? And he would say what he wanted to do. And she would work her way around the class, just picking people at random. But I really believe that morning wasn't as random as it looked. Because one of those rare mornings when I did get to class early and on time, this is the moment when she felt, I can take this guy and I can humiliate him. And that's what she set out to do that morning. So she came up to me and she said, Joseph, what do you want to do? And I'm like, I'm not quite sure. And she gave me that, look. And all the kids kind of smirked because they all wanted to have a laugh because they knew she was always on me. You haven't thought about anything? So I got a couple of things. I don't know. I don't know, somewhere in the office doing some kind of work. I don't know. Maybe accounting. And she looked at me with that look like, yeah, right. Days passed. Again, that week, running like Forrest Gump and Usain Bolt's baby, I made it to class on time again. And then she said, all right, everybody, I want everyone to think of a cool name for yourself. We're going to call you that nickname in class. Everybody picked a name. Then she went around, all right, Marcia, what's your name? She said something, Billy, Greg, Fred. And then she came to me. He said, all right, Joseph, what's your name? I said, well, I call myself Joe Cool. Joe Cool? I said, yeah, my name is Joe, and I'm cool. The kids barely laughed or even said anything like cool name like they did on some of the other kids. He said, cool, cool, Joe. You think you cool? I'm like, yeah. And then, you're not cool. There ain't nothing cool about you. I said, well, that's your opinion. Every day, this woman was on me like you would not believe. Fast forward some months later, I'm running to class, but this morning I get a ride. I get a ride to class, and I'm early. I realized I don't need to run. I could just walk now because I got there real early because I got a ride. And when I got that ride, I was literally the first kid at the door waiting. She came up, what is this? I said, yeah, I'm on time. I'm actually early. I kind of beat you here. And she gave me that look like, don't get cute. But I wasn't trying to be cute. I just wanted to just move into the day because I already had a really tough night. So we get in class. She said, oh, look, Look who came early. He even beat me here. Imagine that. So the kids like waiting for the joke. Any minute now, we gonna get a joke. We gonna get a joke from somewhere, from her. She said, so why are you here so early? So I had a long night. I had to, with the buses on time. I said, no, I said, I got a ride this morning. Oh, he said, so what was you doing that was so rough night? I said, well, actually, my girlfriend just had a baby, our first child. And this woman right in front of the class, I mean, this is high school. This is the high school French teachers ain't got nothing to do with French. She said, what girl would let you get on top of her? And I'm like, what? To myself, kids are rolling. Said, so now you got a baby. What are you going to do to take care of that baby? So I'm going to take care of it. It's going to take more than a fast food job to take care of a baby. I said, yeah, I know that. That's why I'm going to get a better job. What kind of job are you going to get? I don't know. Something. What is something? See, you don't have a plan. So no, I don't have it all figured out, but I'm going to do something. She said, let me tell you something. You know what you're going to do? You're going to do nothing. And the kids are now, they rolling now. You're not going to do anything. You're going to die in your raggedy neighborhood. I'm like, damn, I'm gonna die? My neighborhood is raggedy, but I got to die there? You ain't going to never leave your neighborhood. You're going to just be a bum. You're not even going to be able to get a security guard job. I said, well, that's relief because I don't want a security guard job. Not there was anything wrong with being a security guard. I just didn't want to be one. And she looked at me and all the kids were rolling. They were like, man, they was making their little comment like, man, you don't be nothing. And this woman, this hate was pure hate. I've never seen hate like this. And to this day, all three of those teachers, I don't know why they hated me so much. Like I said, I was not a cut up in their class. I wasn't a cut up. So fast forward, many years later, I'm in the airport, international airport. Me and my wife is about to go to Paris. And there's a lady in line. And man, she looked so familiar. I mean, I kept thinking, I've seen her before. And she looked at me as like, yeah, I've seen her before. And then we kept looking at each other. And then I was like, man, I need to ask her, do I know you? And she had that look like, I need to ask him, do I know you? So finally, when we got parallel to each other in line, the line snaking around, she said, I know you from somewhere. And I'm like, yeah, you look familiar too. She said, I'm not sure where. I said, I'm not either. She said, but you look familiar. I said, yeah. And we kept I said, could it be church? Nah. I mentioned a few old jobs I had. Nah, I never worked there. I said, did you ever live in this neighborhood? Nah, I never lived in that neighborhood. And we kept thinking about, where we could have met each other. Finally, she introduced me to her husband, introduced her to my wife. He was dry as burnt toast, super dry. You can see why they were a great couple. So what happened? We sneak through the line, we get on board, and I'm sitting in the chair and I'm thinking, God, I know her from somewhere. Because they sat away from us. We sat more toward the back. And I'm like, I don't know. So we flew all the way to Paris. We landed. They went their way. I didn't even see them after we got off the plane. We went our way. We jumped in the cab, went to our airport, our hotel, got in our hotel, checked in, everything was good. Later that morning, it was like 3 a.m. I sat up in bed, I said, oh, I know that lady now. My wife like, who? Waking up, whoa. I said, baby, I know who that lady is now. She said, who? I said, that was Miss Hicks. That was Miss Hicks, my old high school French teacher. And she said, that lady? I said, yeah, the woman that told me I would never go anywhere. I would die in my regular neighborhood. I would never be anything. That was her. She said, wow. I wish you would have remembered her then. You could have told her, hey, not bad for a guy that ain't never going nowhere, saying we are going to the same place, to Paris. And I told my way, I said, no, babe. No, I didn't try to become something because of her. I did it because of me. I wanted to be something, not for her, not for anyone, not even for you, for me. And I'm going to continue every day of my life to be something. I'm telling you all the same thing. Do something, do something great, or even greater. Because it ain't about proving it to them. It's about proving it to yourself. See yourself doing it. Be that individual that you know you are, despite the lies and the cries and the crazy crap that you have to put up with every day. We all have it. We all have it. You, you, and all of you can make it. And don't let a Miss Hicks or anybody, like a husband or parent or anybody, bully you to the point where make you think you can't be anything, because you can. They're the nothings, not you, not you. Remember this: you are the greatest thing you will ever see. The greatest. See y'all next time.